to the second segment, episode 143 of Sold with Updike Pugh. And what are we going to talk about today?
Munger Place,
No, we're not.
Swiss Avenue.
Okay, yes, we are.
Close. Swiss Avenue Historic District. And I think this is a beginning of a series that we talked about earlier, where Jeff and I talked about what are conservation districts, what is a PD, historic districts, just to kind of lay the foundation work, and then put together some information in this follow-up segment that is all about the Swiss Avenue. And it is a very interesting community.
It really is, and you know, it's a little misleading. I put that first slide together that said established 1972. This neighborhood was actually developed in 1905. It became a historic district in 1972.
And it was originally part of Munger. Hence, I said Munger.
Yes,
I
you
was
are
being
correct.
original.
Yes, Robert Munger was the developer of this in 1905, and of Munger Place, and he wanted to have this really great area that prominent people in Dallas could come and build their homes and have the continuity of that kind of neighborhood.
And so it became, and there were deed restrictions that were required back then. It had to be a two-story,
Yes.
brick or masonry, no spec homes, and it had to be your
Primary residence. You couldn't build it on speculation that you were going to sell it. You had to commit that you were building this for your family. And hold on, you had to spend at least $10,000 on your home.
10,000. You had to spend 10,000. That is insane. So we can see here, this is a quick example of where it exists. This is also a really interesting little neighborhood because it has little outdoor on the street, brick outside wall that kind of lets you know where you're coming, and a little park as well.
Yeah, the little neighborhood entrances with the arches and the signage, and it's such a great little neighborhood. And it's had some really prominent Dallas families that have embraced this concept. Many of them hired really well-known architects to come in and do their houses. Bertram Hill was an architect in the neighborhood who did the Adolphus Hotel and the first Dallas City Hall.
Isn't that interesting? And Lang and Witchell also came in, and they were also the ones that did Sears and Roebuck and the Singer Building downtown, plus the Dallas High School.
DeWitt and Lemon was another architect. Roscoe DeWitt did the Highland Park United Methodist Church, and he also did Ownby Stadium, which was the original SMU stadium that was torn down and replaced by the Gerald R. Ford Stadium.
Another architect was Marion Foshee, and he did Highland Park Village. And it's really interesting because my dermatologist is Dr. Foshee, so I'm really curious as to if she is related to him.
W.H. Reeves also designed many of the homes, and he did the home that was created for Mary Ellen Benson, who you probably don't know her name, but she was the model for all of the statuary out at Fair Park.
I have to go check now to see if you can actually tell. I think it's a really interesting history. There's so much of it in here. And as you can see, as we're going through this little video, there is a huge setback and just amazing homes in this area.
These were the first paved streets in the city of Dallas. And tell them about the trolley line.
This is the craziest thing. I really wish this still existed. So there's a trolley line that actually ran behind in the alley, and they had their own personal trolleys. The trolley could actually connect and take them anywhere that the trolley stopped. So it would get you all the way into Dallas, or if you were well heeled and needed to go shopping, that was also available for you.
So
Can you imagine?
It is crazy. These houses, some of the most prominent people that lived there were Raleigh Baird, who was the founder of Blue Cross Blue Shield. As I mentioned, Mary Ellen Benson, Dr. John Borland, who invented the baby incubator, the machine that allows you to incubate babies after they're born.
Edwin Ralph Brown, who founded the Magnolia Petroleum Company, which was later became Mobil, also was one of the original residents.
And W.W. Caruth, which if you have lived in Dallas any length of time at all, you see the Caruth name spread all over the city. They are one of the most prominent beginning families in the Dallas history.
And as you did the research, it looked like there were lots and lots of U.S. congressmen, Texas state governors that were also original residents, and 2 mayors as well. And the Neiman Marcus family has a lot of tradition on Swiss Avenue.
They really do, both the Neiman and the Marcus family, both.
There's 3 of them that were out there.
Yes.
Which is, it's just amazing to me. Also, one of the co-organizers for the state fair was one of the originals. So this seemed to be like kind of like a powerhouse of who's who and how Dallas began and founded itself. lived in this area. And I wonder if the trolley was just like one of those mind-bending things. They're like, we can get to downtown. We've got the trolley. Because if you think about it, I don't know if there was another trolley in Dallas at that time.
I don't think there was. I think this one just ran from there to down, or from the East Dallas neighborhood toward downtown.
I'm curious if it was public or if they had any public trolley or if it was only private.
So what they were allowed to do is have their own trolley cars. And so that their trolley car could connect to the public trolley, and they'd be transported in their own private carriage or their own private car.
Look at that. You know what? That's automatic driving before automatic driving was around.
Really?
What has happened to us? How much further could we be if we still had this?
Very true.
It's amazing. The other thing, too, is there's a lot of, I believe it's a spring parade of homes that Swiss Avenue has. It's a really great time for you to be able to go through these houses and really see how big they are on the inside. I think from the outside, you can't quite gather how large those rooms can get. It's interesting.
It really is. And the homes don't look as big from the street as they are once you get inside, because many, with them all being at least 2 stories, they sometimes can feel like they kind of go on and go on and go on.
Well, one of the things that I thought was very interesting when we were previewing one of these homes one time, there was a small basement, and I remember going into the basement, and there was a sump pump, and there was a little cutout, and there was a little water, and they were just pumping the water out, and I thought, where's the water table? How is that possible that this is happening here? So it's a very interesting, tons of history. If you get the opportunity to do the Parade of Homes, it is well worth your time.
Absolutely. And Swiss Avenue Historic District is worth driving over and just spending, you can get through the entire neighborhood in probably less than half an hour.
And I would say if you are an avid jogger or you need a place to go walk the dog and you're on that eternal look for where to go, this is a really great lap to take and just be able to take it in. It's so amazing, and it's a step back into original Dallas architecture.
So if you'd like to learn more about the Swiss Avenue Historic District, certainly reach out to us. We'll be happy to provide you with all the references that we use to gather our information today. If there are other neighborhoods, historic districts, conservation districts, neighborhood overlays that you'd like us to talk about, reach out to us and let us know.
You bet. And just remember, we want to be your realtors for life.